Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. So this video, I just decided to record right after this morning's stream, which was a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys for coming out. And we had a lot of good conversations about Godzilla, especially considering that the movie came out this week. A lot of people's fired up again. A lot of people excited again about the movie. And you know, there's been a lot of concern. It was a really good conversation actually between myself and chat regarding the future of the Monsterverse, other things regarding Godzilla and the like. And I kind of wanted to do this video, first of all, to kind of give you guys an update with the channel real quick. The next 2 weeks are going to be very slim pickings on videos. For those of you who know, or for those of you who come to the streams on a regular basis, the ones that I do Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. This month, my kids obviously still home. They don't go back to school till late this month. I think August 28th is their first day. So, you know, July was a little bit different. It was easier for me to do videos because they weren't home as much. They spent a lot of time in New York with their grandparents. This month, they've been spending a lot of time with me. And while they're very good about letting me record if I need to, I also, as a father, feel very guilty if I keep them home all day while I'm, you know, doing videos and I don't hang out with them or take them out to the library, or sometimes they like to go to the park, splash pads, whatever. So that's why the videos have been very thin. I've just been spending time with my kids and, you know, trying not to be the kind of deadbeat dad that just kind of, you know, so, but it's also given me a great opportunity to work on my videos coming for September. I've been writing a lot of scripts and it's been a little bit, you know, taxing. It's writing that much, but it's given me time to really kind of plan ahead on some of the things I want to do for September. So September should be, you'll see a big influx in videos come then. Once the kids are back in school, I have time to work, I have time to edit. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Now, in terms of Godzilla, the Monsterverse, so obviously there's the big talk about the future. You know, it's a question I get a lot lately. Biggest question is, do you think the Monsterverse will continue after Godzilla vs. Kong? You know, what are the monsters, what we might see, things of that nature. It was a big topic during chat, during the live stream with chat, and I wanted to address it here. I don't know anything about whether or not the Monsterverse is going to continue. Okay, I don't. I have no clue. When I make these guesses and these predictions, I try making them based on business decisions. How would I, as a business person, approach producing these movies? And with that, that's where I come up with the same answer I've always given you guys is, if Godzilla vs. Kong does well, then I think that increases the chance of seeing more movies. If it doesn't do well, I think it depends how bad it does. That will determine whether or not we do. If it breaks even, or if it does just a little under, you know, what it's supposed to, they might still give it one more shot. If it bombs, which I don't see this movie bombing at all, then that's a different story. Then we could see nothing. But I think the important takeaway here is, rather than worry so much about the future, enjoy what you have now. When you really sit back and think about what we've gotten since Godzilla 2014 to now, we've gotten, essentially, after next year, we've gotten 7 Godzilla movies, right? We had Godzilla 2014, we had Shin Gojira, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Next year, we're getting Godzilla vs. Kong. And then you have the 3 animated movies on Netflix. Now, those might not all be your cup of tea, but they still count. And 7 movies in 6 years for a fictional character, that is overall great production, great exposure, and great content. Now, again, we may not all like the animated series, or we may not all like Shin Gojira, but the point is, we have gotten a Godzilla run not too dissimilar than all the runs we've gotten in the past. And I really think that at the end of the day, Godzilla, during this 6-year run so far, whether or not we see more remains to be seen, has been a very successful run in terms of the amount of content we've gotten and the movies, you know. We all have different opinions. You know, when you look at Shin Gojira was an acclaimed success overall. Doesn't matter whether or not I like the movie. It was an acclaimed success. It's a successful Godzilla movie, won awards. Many fans loved the movie. I was 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other, because while I loved everything regarding Godzilla outside of his, as I've mentioned before, not a big fan of the first two forms, not a big fan of the laser light show. But outside of that, I still think that the atomic breath scene is one of the most epic atomic breath scenes in any Godzilla movie ever. That's including the American movies. And then you have the legendary movies, which have been a lot of fun. Godzilla King of the Monsters is a fantastic ride. I literally waited up till 3 a.m. to see the version that I got on digital on Amazon because, they have to wait till West Coast hits midnight. So that means the East Coast has to wait till 3 a.m. I stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch that movie. That's how excited I was. So everyone has their flavors. Everyone has their different tastes. There are people who love the animated trilogy. There are people who hate it. There are people who love Shin Godzilla. There are people who hate it. There are people who love Godzilla 2014. There are people who don't like it, so on and so forth. But the point is, we have gotten almost everything you could ask for in terms of having Godzilla movies put out. That's not to mention the comic books. That's not to mention the first Godzilla game we got. Supposedly another one's coming next year. That's not to mention whatever content Toho decides to put out going forward. So I don't think there's anything worth worrying about when it comes to Godzilla. I described in chat during stream, Godzilla's like a Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's one of those things, you have it once in a while. It comes around. You stuff yourself with it. You don't eat for a while. And then you indulge on leftovers until the leftovers are over. And then after a while, you start craving it again. And when you look at Godzilla's history, it's not too dissimilar in approach. You had the Showa series, great series, died down towards the end. There was a gap. Then we got the Heisei series, was a good series, died down towards the end, another gap, so on and so forth. So my prediction is, even if Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong is the end, I don't think it's the end. It might be the end of the legendary Monsterverse, but I still think Toho has a lot of things they want to do with the franchise. I mentioned in chat, or rather on stream, that I think Toho's plans by being present here in the States are to try and up their game, up their end. I think they're probably looking for investors. I do think they want to increase the production value of what they put out. I really do think that by being in Hollywood, they're looking at ways they can improve their movie. I predict that the first Toho Godzilla movie we see in the coming years is going to be of significant quality over what we've seen in the past. It wouldn't surprise me if they invest in full CG animation. Excuse me, not CG animation, rather stop motion. I'm going through it all before I get to my goal here. I do think we'll get to a point where Toho is going to invest fully in motion capture. And, there's many reasons why. Obviously, they would love the Monsterverse to go forward. They've said so themselves. And they've even talked about some monsters they would like to see. Of course, that's all up to Legendary if they want to invest the money. But I think we're good. I think we're good no matter what happens. I think it doesn't matter whether we get a Monsterverse movie or not after Godzilla vs. Kong. I think we're in good shape. I think there's enough interest in Godzilla to keep it going, maybe on a minor level. During an interview with, I believe it was Collider, Mike Doughty has said that they had spoken about ideas of TV shows, Monarch TV show, Monsterverse. So there are many different options. I don't think we're going to fully see the end of Godzilla in the Monsterverse, or the Monsterverse in and of itself, even if the movie doesn't do well. And I predict it's going to do well. It's Kong. And it's Kong versus Godzilla. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Even if you're not a hardcore kaiju fan, there's still a lot of Kong fans out there. Kong is not considered a kaiju traditionally. So I think a lot of people are going to run to see this movie. I think it may reinvigorate people's interest in the Monsterverse. If the movie is done well, if the movie sets up the Monsterverse going forward, with other elements of the movie outside of Godzilla vs. Kong, there's a very good chance that Godzilla vs. Kong could very well invigorate the Monsterverse and have people interested, and then they can leverage that and go forward. So the point I'm trying to make is, don't worry about this right now. It's such a common question, and it's such a common concern that I really don't think it's worth being concerned about at all. I really do think fans are in a win-win situation. You know, even if we don't get any Monsterverse movies after Godzilla vs. Kong, I really do think we're at a point now where you got Toho's in the game. You know, there's so many different other pieces of content they can use to continue to give us stories about Godzilla. I just don't think it's worth worrying about at this point. You know, when you think about the run Godzilla's had in the last 6 years, well, the last 5 years, going on 6 years, he's had an excellent run. And I don't see it necessarily ending altogether. You know, there is the potential the Monsterverse can end. And that's okay. You know, these companies are out there to make money, whether you like it or not. And if Kong versus Godzilla, or rather Godzilla versus Kong, doesn't make the money they want, and they don't want to take the chance to invest anymore, you can't blame them. It's a business decision. So, but I just think that it's not worth worrying about. Enjoy what we've got right now. There's plenty of content out there for Godzilla over the last 5 years, and I believe there will be more content going forward. Whether or not it is the Monsterverse remains to be seen, but don't worry, guys. Don't worry about Godzilla. You're going to get plenty of it, and even if there's a gap, even if there's no more movies after a while, I believe that at some point in the future, you'll get him again. He always finds a way to come back, so I don't think there's anything to worry about too much. So, but anyway, that's it. I just kind of wanted to do, I guess, you know, a public service announcement, for lack of a better term, because it was interesting how much that came up during this stream as well as prior streams. This seems to be a very, very big question that people, I don't think, are satisfied with the answers, but, you know, that's the best answer I can give right now. And my recommendation would be, don't worry about it. Just enjoy what we've got. Enjoy the movie. It came out this week. Enjoy it on Blu-ray when it comes out in a couple of weeks, and all the extra content on there. And then we go from there, you know? And then we ride towards Kong. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. As I said, please keep in mind, videos will be light for the next 2 weeks. Taking care of my kids, making sure that they enjoy the last 2 weeks of their summer before school. And then September, we'll hit the ground running. A lot of good stuff coming in September. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Share the video, which helps a lot, especially considering how YouTube's been acting lately. And until next time, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.